Hello, my name is Caitlin Browning. I'm here today to share with you my diversity book review. In this review, I'm going to go through a couple different texts that highlight multicultural and physical learning differences. And in those texts, I'm going to share with you the intended age range for each of the books, as well as some literary concepts you can use when you're teaching it in a lesson, and some extension activities. Now, the books I've chosen for you today are 3 different genres. I've chosen an ABC book for younger preschool type age children. I've also chosen a picture book written as a biography and a standard classic picture book. So the first book I want to talk to you about today is our standard picture book. This book is entitled Jin Woo. It's written by Eve Bunting and was illustrated by Chris Soen PA. This is intended for children ages 5 to 9, which are going to be our students in grade levels 1st through 4th grade. And this book is going to highlight the Korean culture. It's actually told from the point of view of this little boy and his family who's getting ready to adopt. Now, the child that they're getting ready to adopt is from Korea. And as you can tell in this illustration, this little guy's not very happy about it. So it goes with the story of this little boy and his family as they're going through the process of actually receiving the little boy that they're going to be adopting. They've already gone through the process, so this is actually the point in the adoption story where the little boy is going to be coming tomorrow on an airplane. And it walks us through that. Now, the little boy in this story is not looking forward to getting a new little brother because he's afraid that when they get a new little brother, his parents aren't going to be able to love him near as much because they'll have a new little baby in the house. And he's afraid that it's really going to start to change things in their dynamic that they have, and he's not excited about it. Go through the story, we learn that the new little boy they're adopting is coming from Korea. Now, as they actually get the little boy, our main character here, whose name they never actually give us, he starts to kind of change his tune a little bit. And by the end of the story, he and his little brother are getting along really well because he realizes that just because they're getting a new person in their family doesn't mean that there's not room for him as well. Now, what I really like about this book is it actually goes into giving you just a little bit of details about the Korean culture. So if you'll see here, they're talking about one of the outfits that their little brother is going to have to wear on his first birthday. So it goes in and it gives you some Korean vocabulary that you can discuss with your students, and also talk about some traditions and things as well that you may see in other cultures that may be different from your own. Now, this story is great, I think, for making connections and having young students make connections to a time when maybe they were scared about something new that was happening, maybe a change in their family, maybe something completely different. But the fact that this story was told from the point of view of a 7-year-old little boy, I think our young readers would definitely be able to make connections and draw on a time when they felt the same way that he does. The story is also really great for talking about character changes. As you can see just in the illustrations alone, our main character here goes from being very upset to, in the end, being pretty happy. And so you just kind of see how as things play out, he changes his tune and how he feels about getting a little brother. Now, one element of this story, they tell us about this new little boy they're getting, the little brother named Jin Woo, and that his name means happy jewel. So for our extension activity on this text, I think it would be really cool to have your students, especially maybe your older students, to go and figure out what their name means, the origin of it and what it means, and then have them write how it applies to them. They said that Jin Woo's happy jewel because he was a new happy addition to their family that they didn't expect to have. So having students finding the meaning to their name and then writing about it would be a really cool extension for them, I think. Now, the next book I'm going to talk to you today about is called F is for Fiesta. This book was written by Susan Middleton Elia and was illustrated by G. Brian Karras. This book is intended for age ranges 4 to 8, which can be our students from pre-K to about 2nd grade. Now, this is the genre. This book is written in more of an ABC format. As you see, it's called F is for Fiesta. It goes through the Spanish alphabet and talks about a party that these little characters are going to have. Now, as you can see when we go through this book, it's very simple. The text is very simple, and it goes through the Spanish alphabet and things that stand for other things. So, for example, M is for Mesa, sparkles with swirls. So it's literally just an ABC book that goes through all the different things you would see in a Spanish fiesta. In this case, it's a birthday party. Now, while this book isn't very in-depth as far as the content is concerned, it's a great book for young students, especially your pre-K students. I can see it being a great addition to a dual language model classroom, to where you have students who maybe speak both English and Spanish. What I really like about this book too is when you open it up to the very beginning, it actually has a Spanish alphabet at the front that you can go through and you can teach your young students, and they can start being exposed to the Spanish alphabet while still reading a text that has English in it. So while this book highlights the Spanish culture, I think it would be really cool as an extension activity to do the same and highlight the Spanish culture while also drawing in and making connections to the culture that we are used to. So for our extension activity for our little ones, since the age range is from about 4 to 8, which is mostly going to be used in our younger grades, I thought it'd be really cool to have the students create a letter collage to where they go in and they pick one letter and they can write about something from their own culture as well as from the Spanish culture. So I have an example here. This one I wrote out as P is for blank. And so I took one item from our culture and one item from the Spanish culture that you may see at a birthday party, since that was what the text was written about. So I wrote P is for presents and P is for piñata. Now mostly at our birthdays you're not going to see piñatas. However, you will see presents at both of them. So this is a really cool way to kind of introduce literacy for those younger pre-K students, to where they can draw out things and then they can get written help from a teacher as well. Now my last book I'm going to share with you today is my book that's going to highlight some physical differences. That book is entitled Helen Keller, The World in Her Eyes. It was written by Lisa Klein Ransom, and it was illustrated by James Ransom, who actually won a Coretta Scott King Award for outstanding illustrations by an African American illustrator. So the age range for this book is ages 5 to 9, which is going to be our students who are in kindergarten to about 4th grade. Now this is one of my favorite books that I actually use in a classroom of my students. I teach 1st grade, and this is a book that they absolutely love, anything on Helen Keller. It goes through the story of Helen Keller and her childhood and how it was really rough and how she just has a really hard time. And this is one of those things that my students every year just get really upset about, because they see the way that Helen is acting and they just can't seem to understand why would she be acting like this? Like, doesn't she know better? Why aren't her parents doing anything about it? And I think this is such a cool talking point for the students, because even though we tell them Helen Keller is deaf and Helen Keller is blind, that concept doesn't really make sense to them. So I think it is really cool when we get to this point and my kids are so distraught about Helen's behavior and why she would be acting the way that she's acting, to kind of let them get into her shoes. And I talked to them about how would you feel if you couldn't communicate with anyone, if you couldn't tell someone how you felt, if you couldn't tell someone you were happy or someone you were angry. And it really kind of opens their eyes to why Helen is so frustrated. Now the story then goes through the story of her entire life, where she meets her teacher, Annie Sullivan, and she starts to learn ways that she can communicate through sign language and through Braille. And it's a really cool story that my kids are always so intrigued by, because it's something so different than things that they see. It's not every day that our young 1st graders meet someone who is deaf or someone who is blind. And they've heard about it, sure, but usually they don't ever actually meet someone who experiences that on a daily basis. That's why I love using this to teach with. Now for this story in particular, sure, it goes through teaching all the history of Helen Keller, but as far as some literary elements, it's a really great text that you can use for teaching point of view, because it goes back and forth between Helen's thoughts, which are italicized in the book, and a narrator who's actually telling the story. Now, when I teach this lesson, we use it in an integrated unit where we're teaching about contributors to the state of Alabama. My students love talking about Helen and how she helps those around her, especially when she grows up and goes on to give lots of speeches and things to those who are like her and those who aren't like her. So like I said earlier, the concept of someone being deaf and blind is kind of foreign for young students, especially 1st graders, which is the age that I teach when I'm teaching this unit. So what I like to do for my extension, my hands-on activity, is to kind of put them in Helen Keller's shoes so that they can see what it would actually be like if they were deaf or if they were blind. Now I start this study by going in and teaching them sign language the colors. We have a couple videos we watch, and we do it with partners. Now, we discussed that if you were blind and you were using sign language, you wouldn't actually be able to see. So I teach them about how Helen used Helen's hands to show her the different colors and things and teach her sign language in her hands. Now, that being said, this activity that I'm going to share with you is a really cool one because it is such a difficult task for the students to do, but it really kind of opens their eyes to something that they're not familiar with. So the extension activity I do in this unit, after teaching them some colors and sign languages, simple sign language, is putting them in partners and having the students paint. Now, that sounds really simple and easy, except that we make them do it blindfolded. So what I do is I show the students a photograph, half of the students a photograph, and I instruct them to teach their partner or help their partner paint it. The problem being is that the partner is blindfolded, and I printed off a picture to show you two of my students doing this. Now, as you can see, one of the partners is blindfolded. This partner is the only one who has seen the picture that they're wanting to paint, so she's trying to instruct her blindfolded partner on how to paint this picture. Now, in this case, it was a picture of a vase and flowers. But this little guy can never see his paper. So what she does is she goes on and in his hands, she shows him the symbol for the color that she wants him to use. And he tells her what color that is. So in this case, she had given him the symbol for blue. And he said, I need blue. So she helped him get his paintbrush over into the blue paint. And then she instructed him what he needed to draw. And so we talked about how important your other senses are when you are deaf or when you are blind or when you are lacking those other senses. So it was really cool to see the students because some of them get really frustrated of, okay, I don't know what you want me to do. You're telling me to draw the straight lines, but I can't see my paper. So we get to really talk about and really understand how Helen must have felt in the story that we just read. So I hope that these activities and these literary concepts have been helpful for you today and help you to expose your students to diverse texts. Thanks.